передает легкую музыку.
Welcome to the American Dream podcast, the show where I interview Eastern European immigrants to see their perspective of the American dream. I'm your host, Ekaterina. Privet. I'm in a studio with Timur Dzhabbarov, a police officer from Springfield Police Department. I heard about you after the interview on 104.1 KSGF radio station. One of the listeners shared about you, and I thought that you would be just the coolest guest to have on my show to discuss the career perspective of the American dream. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Now, before this interview, I did some background check on you and learned that you are from St. Petersburg, Russia. So how long ago you moved to the United States and why did you choose Missouri?
Well, I moved here about 12 years ago, and there was kind of a family situation, so Missouri was an option for me to move. So I always like to take the opportunities, and I decided to go forward.
How long have you been working in this profession?
I've been in this profession for about 6 years now, and I started in a smaller town. It was closer to Columbia, Missouri. There's a town called Moberly, so I started out there first. And once I put about my 3 years on, I transferred to the Springfield Police Department. That's where I'm currently working. I actually have been researching a lot about the different departments in the nations, and I had ride-alongs and with the major departments too, like including Los Angeles Police Department even. I'll tell you about it later. But and I researched a lot, and Springfield Police Department is actually one of the best departments in the nation, in my opinion, for multiple reasons. So, and I just came here, and I liked the city. I liked the size of the department, and I just started to work here, so as a lateral.
Interesting. What do you like about Springfield Police Department? Because when I got robbed, yeah, there's just this thing happened. When I got robbed, it was my first experience ever talking to an American police officer, and I was just interested in the way the system works, because in Russia, when you get robbed, you go and you fill out an application for, that you've been
like
robbed.
A written statement, pretty much.
Yes, basically. Yeah. And so here I was expected to kind of, I don't know, get my purse found a little bit later, but that never happened. So I'm interested. What do you think Springfield Police Department is the best?
First, I like the people a lot. I like the people who work here, and it's like a working family. So police work, it's not, I wouldn't say it's not a job. It's a profession. So it's a big difference between a job and a profession. So when you enter a profession, there's a lot of, like I said, factors in play. And I love the people here who works for the Springfield Police Department. I also love the community here too, which is very supportive of police department. And I don't view Springfield as a super big city, but this city has everything, like from an airport to the ice rink, like pretty much. So this it's a very convenient and nice place to live. And Springfield Police Department is actually very encourages you to be in a great physical shape. We have a lot of opportunities for the officers to train, and just a very healthy and good environment overall. So we have a lot of training about how to interact with the citizens, how to talk calmly, how to calm you down, right? You said, because a lot of times the people don't call police, or we not get involved in positive situations. A lot of times it's the worst day for this person, So just imagine, like, it's your worst day. It's something happened a lot of times, right? And then we show up, and so it's very difficult so a lot of times people are upset about the situation. So we gotta not just take a report, but also try to calm the person down, try to basically make this experience less traumatic for the person, and of course, obviously catch the bad guy and can solve the crime. That's the ultimate goal. But also, make the person feel like we support and, we understand that it's traumatic.
So why did you choose this profession in the United States? Are you satisfied with your choice?
Well, I'm definitely satisfied with my choice because there was a lot of things that just my whole entire lifetime, I grew up, like I said, I grew up in Russia during 90s. I don't know if you heard about it or not.
The wild, spicy 90s, of course I did.
So, and the whole, the St. Petersburg was known for a lot of
bandits.
Well, you know what it is, right? Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. So St. Petersburg, so I grew up pretty much around a lot of stuff already. When I first got the opportunity to move here, so I moved and like I needed a job. So I was like, I always thought about being a police officer, but I mean, you need a job. So my first job was actually a Mexican restaurant. You'll be surprised. Yes. And I just needed a job. And it was so hard because I got those menus and they were in Spanish. And plus I have to serve people in English, like using my English language. So it was a very, like a long road to be a police officer. And so I did that. And then I did pretty much everything from being a busboy to be a dishwasher, server, cook. I did a lot of stuff at the Mexican restaurant. So it was a very good experience, but it's a hard work. So I was like, well, I'd like to do something a little more like office kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So I started to be a car salesman. Mm-hmm. So I actually moved to another state and to start a car sales. And it was interesting. I got to wear a suit and tie, and it was good, but I started to see my whole entire life for the next 20 years. So I knew like pretty much that's going to happen. It's just going to be the same. Mm-hmm. And I didn't feel like that's my role. I don't feel like this is who I am. So I really wanted to feel that I belong to a certain profession, or I am, find myself pretty much, So, and then I started school, and then after I graduated the school, and I entered the police academy, and that's where my path started in 2016.
So was it difficult to master your profession in a foreign country? And what kind of education do you need to get in the United States to become a police officer?
First part of the question, yes. Yes, it was difficult. So I'm not gonna lie, it's not easy. It's not easy.
I like the honesty.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was not easy. Well, at first, I don't know if you experienced it when you moved, but when I moved, I'm a pretty social person. I like to talk to people.
I can tell.
Yes, thank you. But so when I first moved, I appreciate it. But when I first moved, I felt like I'm speechless. I cannot speak, and I'm also not super shy. But I felt shy to talk to people. I felt shy to get buy a water at the gas station. I felt shy to ask for get a gas. And it was a couple times I was like, oh, I just can't do it. It's just like, it's so difficult to speak another language, And
oh yeah, I do.
You do, right? You feel like this is such an out of comfort zone. Mm-hmm. You don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So yes, of course, it is difficult. But as long as you're willing to work, willing to keep going, and you'll achieve your dreams and your goals. Mm-hmm. And as far as education goes, it kind of varies from the department to the department. So it depends on the city and jurisdiction. So here I believe that we have 30 semester hours of schooling. Mm-hmm. So, but when I transferred here, I already had my bachelor's degree in about 3 years on. Mm-hmm. So I came as a lateral here. So.
Mm-hmm. So do immigrants need any special qualities and skills to work in the American police?
Yes. Yes. Yes, they do. And it's going to be pretty much, because I mentioned earlier, it's not a job, it's a profession, right? So you do need certain qualities to be able to do this job. Be in this profession, right? Mm-hmm. I was like,
mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, it kind of applies to everyone, not just immigrants. Like, first, the biggest thing in this job is you got to have the integrity. You got to have the integrity, and you got to have a good faith in what you do. That's kind of the most important thing, right? The second, in my opinion, the big one is that you got to be able to operate under stress.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And you got to make quick decisions, because a lot of times it'll affect someone. Also, you got to be mentally and physically be prepared for whatever comes. And the big one, and I would say another huge one, it's you got to be able to run toward the danger, mm-hmm. not away from it. And you have to sometimes you would have to put yourself in a possible harm's way for others. So those are qualities that applies to pretty much, that's
all
the qualities. All police officers, and like I said, not just to immigrants, but everyone who wants to do this job.
So would you work as a police officer if you stayed in Russia? What would your path be like if you stayed there?
I thought about the career as police officer, yes, because like I said, I wasn't athletic. So I thought about it. But I think if I would stay in Russia, I would probably pick either a path of an athlete, and because I like I like coaching kids. Like I said, the tournaments, and so that was one of my possible paths to continue, get my own school, get my own team, and just forward with that. And there's a possibility I would do something related to the law, like a lawyer or something of that nature, if I would stay there. So I would say that would be a path.
So to whom would you recommend your profession? Would you recommend your profession to other Eastern European immigrants?
Mentioned earlier, those qualities that you need to possess. Pretty much I would recommend this profession to whoever possesses those qualities. However, specifically for the immigrants, on top of those qualities, you gotta have other qualities such as flexibility. So you gotta be able to adapt to new culture, new language. You're gonna deal with the people from different backgrounds, right? Different histories, different experiences with police officers too. And to me, like when you change somebody's mind about, like when somebody, let's say they have a negative perspective of law enforcement, and then you deal with it, you change my mind. Like you change my mind, you change my perspective. So that's a big deal. Like that's I feel an achievement when that happening. So and I would recommend, like I said, so you got to have those qualities that I mentioned earlier, and you got to be able to learn. Be able to be open-minded about stuff, be able to adapt, and use your language as well efficiently. So
this is the question I was most excited to ask you. How do you feel about protecting the citizens of the country you were not born in?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, it's my people too. So it's not, I cannot. So America is my dad, and Russia is my mom. That's how I feel.
Are you a citizen here?
You have to be in order to be a police officer.
That was my next question.
So you have to be in order to be a police officer. But so, like, I literally feel like that. So Russia is my mother. That's where I'm born and raised, and United States is my dad. So it's my father.
Divorced.
They have sometimes they have sometimes arguments. Let's put it that way. But I think that people are people, and human life is a human life. So it's really, to me, it doesn't matter which country, background, culture, race they are from. It's the life is a life to me. So I feel totally fine. And this, like, I have family members who are Americans too, so it's my country too.
So you started on this question already about the green card and citizenship. So tell me, how did you get your citizenship? So right after you got hired to work in a police department, did you automatically get your citizenship?
No. You, like I said, some departments in the country you have to have a green. You only have to have a green card, and some departments you can process with the, like you can be hired with a green card. Some departments require the citizenship. So it depends on the region of the state, county, specific like laws. It's not just a standardized.
What about Springfield Police Department?
What about Springfield Police Department?
Do they require to have a green card or a citizenship? Citizenship.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you, Timur, for sharing your story with us. We are upon our break, and we'll be back right after this. Welcome back. You're listening to the American Dream Podcast. I'm your host, Ekaterina, in the studio with a police officer from Springfield Police Department, Timur Dzhabbarov. So my uncle is a police officer. And ever since I was little, I remember my family celebrating the holiday called Day of Police on November 10th.
Yeah.
Usually on that day, my uncle was either off of work or had an extremely short day. Russia in general loves holidays and usually likes to give citizens about 2 to 3 days off to celebrate. How do you feel about that system? Does the United States have a similar holiday?
We do have holidays. We have Police Memorial Week. We have specific days. It's like a Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, Police Appreciation Day. We have similar to that too. But they're not specifically a holidays for us.
Okay. All right. Well, let's dive into the topic of the American Dream. And I want to start by getting to know your definition of the American Dream.
My definition right now is opportunities and be able to achieve things if you're willing to put the work into it. It's my definition right now. It has changed over the time, though.
How did it change?
It changed because at first, when I just moved, what do you think about? Skyscrapers, cars, houses. Like you're thinking about materialistic things, pretty much. Yeah, like you're thinking about tools, toys, pretty much, and stuff like that. But once I lived here for longer, I realized what the American dream is about to me, particularly, and it's more about the opportunities. Like when I started as a busboy at the restaurant, and I was holding the gold medal at the World Police Fire Games representing the United States in Los Angeles. That's the American dream to me.
So what do you think about the concept in general of the American dream?
I think it's a good concept. I always try to say that dreams are a great thing overall. So dream with a plan, it's the goal. So I always try to have goals.
Me too.
Because like dreaming is great. Like it gives you the desire to do something, but then you have to have a plan to make it real.
So when you were moving here, speaking of plans, what were your plans?
As I mentioned earlier, that medal on the World Police Fire Games was it was really like, I felt like I belong somehow to the police family. And so it's a kind of combination of being a police officer and an athlete at the same time. So it was really my big kind of a dream, I guess, like you say a dream, but that was a big one.
So how did it change throughout the time?
Well, it changed because I realized that you can, like, it's not just about the specific thing. It's about if you're willing to put the work and you're willing to learn, you're not giving up, then you'll achieve your dream or your goal. So that's how it's changed. So I realized it's not about the specific like medal or a specific like house or a car. It's about the opportunity that you're given.
So what does it mean to live the American dream? And are you living it?
Yes, I'd say so. Because, I mean, what is the American dream?
What does it mean to live it?
What does it mean? And to me, it means like I have a goals for the next year. Like I wanna achieve certain things next year, for example. And yeah, I love my life here. So I'd say I have an opportunities, and I just need to put a lot of work into it, and I will make my dreams yours. Since you know that you are able to achieve things, if you're willing to work for it, then you just you believe in yourself. So that's what American dream is for me now.
So is becoming an American police officer was part of your American dream, and is it worth it?
Yes. And yes. So both yes, I'll say for both, because yeah, it was. So now I realize that it was. Maybe at first when I moved, right, I just needed a job, right? So I started to get, but I think somewhere deep in my mind, there was a part of my dream, because I really wanted to belong. I wanted to belong to, I want to know who I am and who you, like, you always want to know who you are. Who do you belong to, And especially during the police games, when you have officers from France, Israel, England, Russia, right? You have like all kinds of people. You feel like one big family. It's like such a good feeling. And you feel like you're connect to people really easy. You communicate with people, like you talk to people from absolutely different continent, and you feel like you're on the same page. So that's amazing feeling to be a part of. Like, you know who you are.
So you have an experience of living both in Russia and United States. If you were to compare how police are working in both countries, how would you do it?
Oh, it's different. Let's put it that way. Style is different. Training is different. So basically, this is like the whole nother podcast. I tell you what, like the training and the kind of, and tactics. There's so much stuff into it. Start with mentality, weather, tools. It's a lot of stuff. So it's very different. You want me to go to specifics? All right.
It's up to you. If there is something specific that you think is very, very different, that you think should be fixed.
Fixed? Mm-hmm. Well, nothing in this world is perfect. Let's put it this way. There's always something to work for to make it better, right? But overall, I mean, like I said, it's every situation that you're involved in, you got to think about and think, what could you done better? So I'd say it's more not just for the police, it's for everything. In America, what I like a lot is that there's always open-mindedness about things. Like, what could we done better? What could we do better? What can we improve? And I think this is a big part. I think this is a big difference. So like, as far as willing to accept good and bad, and make the change to the better.
Well said. Okay, so every episode I have a quote for each of my guests, and I have one for you too, and I want to get your thoughts on it. So the quote is from Pico Iyer. So, American dreams are strongest in the hearts of those who have seen America only in their dreams.
Wow. Well, so I mean, the whole like I said earlier, I think dreaming is good. I overall think that you need to make your dreams true. That's what I think. So you need to, I would say, just stop dreaming and go do it. That's what I'd say.
I love that. Well, thank you so much, Timur, for coming in today.
Thank you.
Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Podcast TAD.